Hi, so I built a responsive image gallery in 40 minutes and I was able to do that using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. So let's see how to do that. So here is the image gallery and this is what the finished product should look like. And I have it here live at my Replit hosting. That's responsive image gallery, Omeata repo code. You can also go to my GitHub page and you'll see the project as responsive image gallery, and then you can view the live demo from here. And these are the files that we're going to be creating and we're going to be using. So if I click on that, you can see the same thing here. So let's go on and build the project. So we want to build the responsive image gallery, and this is my live server page. That means it's currently running. Let's just test that. So in my HTML tag, body tag, let me just put responsive and save, and we can see that here. So it's working. So we put the basic HTML setup, and we can see the doc type HTML. Then we have the head, and then we have the body. So in the body, let me just put the basic things. That's the header, the main component, part of this of the website, and also the footer. So I'm just going to type the header, and I'm going to type main, and the last one I'm going to have is footer, just to have that completed. So in the header, I'm just going to put the h1 tag, and I'm going to put the responsive image and gallery. So save, and we should have it show up here. So let me just also add a p tag, that's a paragraph, and I'm just going to say resize the browser, since this web page is going to be responsive. So I'll just put that there. Let me just correct that. Okay, then I'm going to, in my main area, I'm going to put where the images are going to be. So we're going to have three columns, that's 1, 2 and 3, to show up on the web page, and that will display all our pictures. So let me make it 4. I'm going to have four columns instead. So I'm going to create columns, and I'm going to give it a class of column. So I'm going to have div tags with a class of column. So let me just put that div and column, and I want 4, so that's times 4, and now we have 4 div tags with the class of column. So let me just put 1, 2, 3, 4. So now you can see that here. So this is meant to be lined up 1, 2 and 3 and 4. So that's what we're going to do as I go on. So once that is completed, next I need to put the images. I'm going to have in each column about 5 images per column. So let me just start with 1, and I'm going to use the image tag, and that's what is there. So it's expecting us to put a source and the alt. So I'm just going to make this 1, and let me make 5 of that. So image times 5, and now I have, I've actually made it 6 here. So I'm going to take 1 off. So that's 5. So 1, 2, oops, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's done. So I have my images, and we can see them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ready. And I'm going to make that, this is for column 1, so they will line up vertically, and the same for column 2, 3, and 4. So now I'm going to let me just remove this so that it wouldn't or let me write in the column 2, and so that we can see when I use a flex box to line them up, to rearrange them. So 2, 3, and now we can see column 2 and this column 1. So next I'm going to select my pictures, and I'm going to go to unsplash.com, and I have here in landscape. So I'm going to look for both landscape and portraits. Like this is portrait and this landscape. So I'm going to maybe select 3 of landscape and 2 of portrait. So let me just make this 1. So this is my first picture. So I'm going to copy the image address, and I'll come here 1 as the source, will be that one. So it's a bit long, but that's it. Then the second one, I like this, so I'm going to copy that for my 2. Then I'm going to alternate 3 with another portrait like this. So I'm going to copy that, copy image address, and I'm coming here to put that. Then 4, I'll look for another landscape. Let me see, this is fine. Copy image address. And 5, I will just use let me see if there's another portrait. Or let me just use this landscape. Let me just use this one. Copy image address. So that's done. So I'm going to save, and it tries to rearrange that. Let me just expand that. So it tries to rearrange that. Doesn't really look nice, but it's fine. But let me come back here and save, and now we can see that we have the 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's done. So let me just put a horizontal line after resize browser. So I'm going to style that later. So I'll just do that. Now we have a horizontal divider. So next I need to try to rearrange these pictures to make sure they come on the same column. And also I'm going to make sure that column 2 is here, 3 and 4 also take their position. So I'm going to use CSS for that. So first of all, we have our CSS. Let me just show you where I have this. So you can see app.cssj, app.js, and index.html. They are all on the same folder. So I would have to import this app.css and app.js into my HTML file. So to do that, I'm going to come up here for CSS and say link, and now I'm going to link the app.css. So now I've imported that file, this file, and let me come down just after the footer, and I'm going to say script, and I want the source would be app.js. So that's good. So now whatever I apply here in this app.css would reflect in my HTML or the web browser, the web page. First of all, I want to make sure that I make this border box um, so that the what you call it, the padding and the margins would not interrupt the sizes I give to my objects. So I'm going to set that for everything, that's all, and I'm going to make sure that the box sizing, that's it, is border box. So it will remove the padding and the margin spaces to adjust the sizes of the containers. So once I've done that, then I'm going to style the body, and I'm just going to simply say margin should be 0. Don't want any inherent margins, so you can see it's removed the margins from this, and everything is now closer to the end of the web page. And later I'm going to give this or let me do that now. I'm going to change the font text. I want to make it more beautiful. So I'm going to come here to Google Fonts, and I'm going to make it Roboto Fonts, Roboto, yes, and I'm going to choose the normal Roboto, and let me just scale that down. Okay, so I want regular 400, selected, dismiss, and for bold I want bold 700, selected. So that means I'm going to embed this. So I'm going to put this import into my CSS. So I'm just going to copy that, come here to my CSS, and let me just do that here and place that there. So I've imported that, and now I can apply the rule by saying font family Roboto sans serif in this case. So I'm going to apply that to I'm going to apply that to, where do I do that, in the body. So save, and if we come back, we can see the change. This now Roboto text. So once that is done, then I may need to style the header, but I'm going to skip that first. Let me just go back to the pictures. I just want to make sure that they are in the columns specified, and I'll come back and style the header and even style this horizontal line. So next I'm going to let me just get back to my index.html, and I can see the column. So I'm going to first of all, I was meant to create place this in a row, because I'm going to have more like I'm having a single row, and I want everything to fit into the row, and the columns will now be within the row. So we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. So what I will do is, in the main, I'm going to let me just create the container. I'll create the container first, just in case I'll need to style that later. Container, then in the container I'm going to create the row, and that's where all these columns will be inside. So I'll take that out and place it in here. So that's the container in the main, then we have the row, then in the row we have the columns. So once that is done, then I want to style these columns. So I'll come back here. I'm going to introduce Flexbox because that will help us to use the Flexbox syntax for setting these images. So let me do that for the row. So I'm going to style the row, and that's this one. That's this container here. So, and we can see the row is the parent of the column. So once I apply flex on the row, it will be applied to the children. That's the columns. So I'm going to set the display to flex. Sorry, let me just do that here. To flex. And now Flexbox has been introduced. If you notice when I save, you can see that. And guess what? See what happened here. The columns that were under has now moved to this side. The reason is because once you apply Flexbox, by default, the Flexbox direction is row, and that's what we can see here. But I'm going to set it that it will be 25% of the screen size, and it's going to use the full viewport width. So it's 25, 25, 25, 25. Let me just put flex wrap so that the pictures can be wrapped up and they will be responsive. So I'm going to put that as flex wrap. So flex wrap, and I'm going to say wrap. So they will be responsive. You can see it's wrapping it. Can you see that? So then I'm going to put padding for the row, and I'm going to say top and bottom. I want to maintain the top and the bottom, but the left and the right I'm going to have maybe 4 pixels. So let me just put that padding, and top and bottom I'm going to say 0, and left and right I'm going to say 4 pixels. Save. So we can see 4 pixels to the left and also to the right, and it's looking better. But I still need to use Flexbox to rearrange this so that each column would have 25% max width and width. So means next I'm going to go to the column. So that's here. That's this. Let me close this. That's this one here, which has includes other columns we have here. So I'm going to say column, the class column, and first of all I'm going to make the flex to be 25%. So sorry, let me just make that here. So 25%, which means everything should in each column should have a width of 25%. So I'm going to also make the max width, and max width I'm going to make that 25% too. And now we can see column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4. If I expand that, we can see column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4. And we can see now that all the pictures are lined up in column 1, as you can see here. What I'm going to do next is to see that I also copy these pictures so that they line up in the various columns. We'll have the 4 columns, so I'm going to come right to the HTML, and I'm going to do the going to do like the start from 2 then go down. So I will take 2 to 5 here, then I'll put 1 at the end. Then for column 3, take 3 to 5, then I will take 1 and 2. Then column 4, I will start from 4, so I'll say 4 to 5, and I will take 1 to 3. And now we can see how this plays out here, and now we can see that there needs to be space between the pictures. Let me just save that. So I'm going to come back to my app.css, and I'm going to put a padding in the column padding, and let me say top and bottom I'll still maintain the, I think the spacing is okay for the top and bottom, but the right to left I'll put 4 pixels. So top bottom 0, right to left top 4 pixels. And let me see if any difference. Not yet. Okay, so what I'll do is I'm going to style the image tags itself, the images. Styling the column is not enough, so let me go back to this, and I'm going to style the image tag in the column. So I'll select column and I'll select image. I want to vertically align it to the middle, so let me just see that. So vertical align to the middle, the width to be 100%. Let me see that. Okay, so that was what was missing, because it needed to get the exact width of the column, which serves as the container in this case. That's here. So next we need to make sure we create a little spacing, just like we have on the sides. We also have a spacing under and on beneath, on top and beneath the images. So just to differentiate between them. So to do that, I'm going to come back here and I'm going to create a padding. Let me see. Oh no, let me do the margin instead, since it's to create the space. Margin on the top, I'll make it 8 pixels and save. And now we can see that we have the shared margin 8 pixels, and we can see that it's the exact size that we have here, as we can see here. So let me just put a footer here so that it will differentiate between our pictures and the bottom of the page. So I'm going to place the horizontal line. Let me just do that right after this last div on the main, and I'll just say HR. That's it. So now we can see the bottom horizontal line, and I'm just going to put the footer. Yeah, Ifeanyi Omeata responsive gallery gallery 2021. Oh, let me see. If I Omeata responsive gallery at 2021. So I'm going to come down here. Let me center align the footer. So I'm going to say text align. Oops, text align and center. And now we have it there in the middle. And I'm going to just create a margin. That's a margin bottom. And I'm then going to make that 8 pixels. That looks fine, but let me just make it 20 pixels. Okay, it's better. I'm going to bold it, so I'll say font width, and I'm going to make it 700, which I set for Roboto, and that's it. So next we need to let me just also change the color of the footer. Color, and let me go through colors .co, and I'm going to pick this one here. So click it, copy, come back here, paste, and now I have that. So let me look for a darker color that doesn't really, it's too shouting. Maybe something like this. Come back, and now that looks better. Let me make this just a bit bigger. So I'm going to say font size 1 em, and let me make that. So I'm going to try 1.5 em, and this is beautiful. That's beautiful. So I need to resize this one too. So I'm going to come here to, and let's check that is on the header, our header tags. Then we have h1 and paragraph. So I'm going to come back here, and right under the body I'm going to put the header as the header tag, and I want to text align center, just to center the text, and you can see very nice. And I think I need to change the color of that one. So but we can see that the p tag is going to be different color from the h1. So I'll just put the general color there. So I'll just say color, and let me look for the nice color I will use. This gold looks nice, so let me see how that will turn out. And that looks pretty fair. So I need to change this color. So I'm going to come down here, and I will say header, the same header, and I'm going to say I can do the two things. Sorry, I can say the p tag that comes within the header, that is it's not adjacent, but it's a child of the header. So I'm going to do that, p tag in header. So I can either do this, let me try this. That's the next child for the header, the p tag. Color, and I want the color to be let me take that one. and you can see that. Or I can just leave it this way. That means it's a child of the p tag and the same. So I'm going to make this bold, but this one I'm going to make it bold. So font weight 700, which is fair enough. And the size font font size, going to say 1.5 em. I think this is good. So this is fine, but the issue here is that this is not going to be too responsive because it's just going to be shrinking our pictures. As you can see here, it's just shrinking it. What I want to do is to make sure that these pictures become 2 columns, maybe when it's halfway into the screen, and when it's a quarter of the screen, it becomes 1 column seen. So like for mobile devices, you just see 1 column. For a tablet, maybe 2 columns, and for a full screen, you now see the 4. So let's do that. What I will do for that is I will use the media query syntax. So right under here, I'm going to say media. I can use that format, media screen, to be specific. Or let me just use this media. I'm just going to say max width and 600 pixels. So when it's 600 pixels, then we need to adjust this column here, because column is 25%, which is a quarter. So I'm going to just copy that. So once is 600 pixels, which is like halfway into the screen, the max width should be 50%. So I'll just make that, instead of 25, I'll make that flex 50% and max width 50%. The padding is still the same, so it's fine. So that one's fair. So let's just try that out. Inspect, and let's make it 600. Let's go, we're getting there. Yeah, so now see, I just passed 600 and 2 columns we have there. So let's go back here, close this, and I'm going to do that when it's quarter way into the screen. 600 may seem a bit small, so let me just check. Let me just Google that. I like using Bootstrap media queries media sizes. I like using that. Let me see that. So Bootstrap uses 576, medium is 768, and large is 992, extra large 1200. So I'm just going to make my small to be 576 and the medium 768. So let me just adjust this 600 here to 768. Yes, then 576 for that one. For this small one, 576. And the flex will be 100%. That means full width 100%. So let's test that out. So I'll close this and inspect, and let me minimize that. So now we have 1057. Let me now get to 700 and let's say bam, see that 4 2, and when we get down to 6 5 something, see, down. So can try that out without that. This is the full screen here, and let's go to like for a small device, and 1 for a phone. See that? So that's more like it. That's like our responsive gallery has been created. But let me just do one more thing. Let me style this horizontal line. So I'm going to come back to our app.css, and somewhere around here where I have the header, let me just put that the horizontal line, and going to style that. And what I want is to make this a bit wider, and I'm also going to change the color. So I'm going to say the height, and I'm just going to give that 5 pixels. Let me see, and we can see a difference. So let me just add the background color, and let me look for something here like this. And I can see exactly that. Let me just add a little more height to it. 8 pixels. And now you can see we have styled our horizontal line, and we can see that our website, our gallery is almost done. So let me just finally give a little background to the header section, and let's see how that would be. I will need to choose a lighter color, so I'm looking at something, or I could just make that a little ash, maybe something like this. So the header, I'll go up to the header, and I'm going to say background color and save that. And this looks a bit off. Let me look for something else. Probably what I could do is I could make this white and use a darker color. So I'll just use lighter colors for the text. So let me look for something like this, or this one, for the background color. Okay, then this one I would make that probably white, FFF. And this other one, let me just look for something lighter, maybe this one, for the P tag. Yeah, so we want to get rid of this spacing at the top here. So to do that, I'm just going to come to the one that is basically all of the window, and I'm going to say margin top 0, and now gotten rid of that. And let me just put that for our h1 tag. So I'm going to say padding top, and let me just make that 10 pixels, and we can see that it's been separated. So I think this is the end of the gallery, and let me just change this color. I don't like the color, so I will look for something darker like this, and I'll come back here and change that, and that's fine. So there's one more thing I need to do. I noticed that I used art 2021 instead of copyright 2021. So let me just change that. So I'm going to come here, and where we have art, I'm going to use the ampersand copy, and that's the entity for it. So I'm going to save, and so that's it. If we come down here, we can see copyright 2021. So we've completed our responsive image gallery.